Welcome to Digital Thread Bytes, a workforce development podcast produced by Sinclair College and the Dayton Development Coalition in Dayton, Ohio. In this podcast, the team discusses the coming revolution in digital engineering, highlighting digital transformation success stories and opportunities for learning. Here are your hosts, Jennifer Gravitt and Elizabeth Generas.
Welcome, everybody. We're back with Digital Thread Bytes, the next episode in season 2. And we are extremely excited, Elizabeth and I, first to be back in the studio, but second, to have with us Ken Burns, plant manager of the Independent Can Company in Ohio. And Ken and his team have implemented a dramatic digital transformation with the help of Sinclair and the solution provider, Priomatics. Because we're focusing this season on actual applied digital transformation, we're super excited to hear what has happened for them. Ken, thank you for being here. And if you could just tell us about Independent Can Company and your role there.
Oh, sure, no problem. So Independent Can, we make cans. Independent Can. The biggest business we have here in Vandalia, Ohio, is we make the lids for smokeless tobacco, or moist tobacco. So Copenhagen, I know this will blow everyone's mind. We make 800 million a year. I mean, so wow. There's many days we'll make 3 or 4 million parts, through our operation. We take it from raw steel through the presses and ship it to, the big suppliers in the country who supply moistless tobacco.
That's an incredible amount of cans.
Yes, it is. When you go to the gas station and you see them along the wall, we made most of them.
That's incredible. So what do you do for ICC?
So I joined ICC a couple years ago as plant manager here in Vandalia. I manage the plant and drive continuous improvement. And, when you have very high speed manufacturing operations like we do, we can run, anywhere on one machine, 90,000 an hour. And we inspect 100% of everything that we make through cameras. That speed and that information gathering is key to provide opportunities for improvement.
That's incredible. And I remember Elizabeth and I got to tour your facility and meet some of your team, both of which are very impressive. I just remember standing there and it's very mesmerizing watching your machines in action. Yeah. So it's an incredible process.
What made you think about starting down this road of collecting data and continuously improving? What drove that for you?
Oh, sure. So I'm going to have to tell you a little of my educational background and experience because I've been in manufacturing. The gray hair will tell it for a long time. And I'm actually a lean expert through Honeywell, and I'm a black belt for Six Sigma. So I'm a true believer in data drives good decisions. And it's going to be hard to improve anything that you can't measure, because I've always believed that. So, some form of this process has always been a part of any plant or any organization I've managed. But here we run parts so fast and we have, scrap that is higher than we'd like it to be. But it's all evaporative information. Once it throws it out, you don't have any feedback system to be able to find out, well, why did I throw out 2% this hour or whatever it might be? Or, you run really fast at the end of the day, you make 500,000 parts on one of the lines in a shift and you think, oh, that's not too bad. But, you want to drive improvement so you can start looking at what the downtime items are. This joint venture with yourself and Priomatics, it's great that you run fast, but if you're going to start improving, you need to also understand, well, why you can't run fast all the time. If it's a machine issue, if you're getting too much scrap, some of the key activities that this, anyone who works in manufacturing will appreciate this. One of the key activities, because you're running so fast, you have several different pieces of equipment. With this new system, it takes 2 seconds. You take a look at what the speed is here. It identifies your bottleneck. We actually have a screen that will show you, when everything's running, if it's blocked or starved. So you know where to focus your effort. It's been a huge help for the maintenance and actually the operators to drive improvement.
We had a lot of lean discussion last season. We talked to the lean experts at Fastlane. And one of the things that we learned was you had to slow down to move faster. Slowing down improved the process.
Sometimes, yeah.
Seems counterintuitive, but
it does.
Incredible.
But identifying those bottlenecks is key when you can't see it when it's going so fast.
Right. All the information is evaporative. It's you can't improve on it. It's like, I got what I got today. And that's not bad, but boy, I like to make it better. Well, how am I going to make it better if I don't know what I didn't get done before?
Exactly. Well, so what were some of, like, when you first started down this road, what were your biggest barriers?
Most of it was around the IT part of the business. We all have, security in our businesses so we don't get hacked, and it's the right thing to do. And not everything talks to each other. And we had several different systems, like our camera system was different than our press system. And we had to, and honestly, Priomatics took care of all this for us, but it was a little longer journey than we thought. Like, being able to keep in mind, we're running 90,000 hour per machine. We now have 3 machines, by the way. Some of the improvement we made actually let us buy a new one because we got more business. You're capturing 100% of the defects, or you're looking at each lid with a camera, both up and down. So think of the amount of information that you're generating, right? And so that being evaporative before, now you need some way to store that. And being able to go back and look and be able to decipher, well, why did I throw out, so many parts for scratches or whatever it might be? What serial number was it? So I could actually go back into the process and start making improvements. So that was probably the biggest challenge. It's the piece that have the organization be able to talk to one another. But if you think about it, manufacturing 4.0, right, that's where you need to have that connectivity. We've actually taken it to the point that even since you guys have been here, we can now just scan the job order and it loads everything in Priomatics. So, operator doesn't have any chance to make a mistake, and they don't mean to, but sometimes we all do that, right? Fat finger something. So it's made us better even in that end of the process.
So when you started this, and we last talked a few months ago, but when you started this to now, what has been most impactful for you and for the company?
Well, our rates have increased significantly, and which hits the bottom line immediately because you're doing the exact same process. You're not throwing as many out, and you're running more product in a period of time. I would say that one of the things that I think was the biggest advantage is the awareness of the operators, because all my folks want to do a good job, but if they don't know what to go out and work on, or they don't see like a trend, like like, oh my gosh, I'm losing 3, a couple of cycles every 10 cycles or whatever it might be because something's blocked or starved. Now they have that info and they solve 99% of the problems. Occasionally they invite me, but they're usually seeing it's like, oh, I know why this is happening. And we run so fast. Sometimes, I know that sounds silly, but sometimes it's hard to see. So I would say the employee involvement in being able to identify what needs fixed has probably been the biggest issue, our biggest advantage. And it's in the bottom line.
You can see it.
Yeah. And actually, organizations rewarded this. We actually, since you guys have been here, I have a whole new product line.
Wow.
Added another product line.
Wow, that's so impressive. And it's got to be fun for your employees too. I mean,
we have a blast every day. If you go into buy groceries, go to the spice aisle and the screw-on metal caps.
You're making those now.
Yeah.
And you didn't hire more people or anything, right? It's the same.
Actually, we did not. We kept them. We don't have any temps, which we used to have temps, and I don't mean to give all the credit just to Priomatics and this, but it's all part of your process, right? It's all part of letting data drive, your business and solutions and drive continuous improvement. And the more connectivity you can get, the better. I mean, because just like the operators being able to scan and not have to enter anything, it now prints out your label at the end of the day. But if that doesn't go perfect, our customers don't like it, right? They'll look at it and go, I'm not sure what's in this box. Quite honestly, we don't have any of those mistakes. We have some other things to work on. We don't have any of those mistakes.
We've come to the part of the podcast where we ask all of our guests the same question. So what keeps you up at night, Ken?
Not much. I mean, we do run 7/24. So sometimes the alarms that we've set in the system keep me up. Something that, I might send a text to someone, hey, do you need any help? But I don't get a lot of those. As far as worried about serving our customers, probably the biggest thing is and I know this is way off base, but it's the tariffs on steel. Because if tariffs continue to go up on steel, we're not going to be competitive with alternative solutions like plastic caps for your spice jars. So that is certainly one, if you think a long term, that is plant operations, because plant operations, I have a good team. We've worked really hard to get structure because maintenance folks are really hard to find. Right now, not much of that keeps me awake.
Well, that's a wonderful answer. I don't know that we've ever because you've done this, you've gone down this whole digital transformation road. Less keeps you up at night. That's like music to our ears, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to make this all sound like, motherhood and apple pie, it solves everything, because it doesn't. It's still a lot of work.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I found is that if you empower your people, they don't call you as much. Unless they're going, boss, I don't know how to do this one. Can I get some help? And it makes any manager's job, one heck of a lot easier. And, having evaporative data drives everyone crazy. And I hate to keep using that term, but it truly is one of those. At the end of the day, people want to know, did I do well or didn't I do well? And what can I do to do better for tomorrow?
I think that's something we haven't heard before, that this data transformation, this digital transformation has allowed you to empower your people. That's probably not something we've ever really talked about.
Which is so key about why we wanted to talk to people about, what the applications and what the benefits of this are, and to empower your people. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, one of the other things that's kind of a sidebar, but or a side benefit, I guess, they have contests to see who can run the best hour.
That's so fun.
I mean, last week they broke the record. It was 94,000 in it.
94,000 units in an hour.
In one machine.
Wow.
One machine. And you've got the visual on the wall, right? So they're keeping track.
It's right up on the wall at every hour. Actually set it for as long as you want it. But right now we have it for 24-hour period of time. It shows how much you ran for each hour.
That's so much fun.
They have fun doing it.
Yeah, that's good. Making the work fun, right?
Their job's easier, when they run well. And quite honestly, not just here, it's really in most organizations, you're more automated than you aren't. Remember, I got the gray hair. The manual operations that we used to do, very few people do those anymore. Right? I mean, you're not actually putting things together with your hands. Almost everything is done from equipment, and it's going to, especially with all the AI, that's just going to continue. And so being able to put a system in place that, looks at every sensor that you have on the machine and be able to get feedback on where the issues are, and then be able to tie those together. Ideally, like my scrap issues, I'd love it to talk to another part of my machine, and we'll get there someday, to be able to make adjustments so I don't make that scrap going forward if I have like a registration issue or off center issue.
You've said how much hard work has gone into this. It's not easy, right? But we are so appreciative of your story and that you've been sharing it with us. And it just seems like the hard work pays off.
Oh, it does. And you got to stay with it. You get the tools, you got to use them, and there has to be a commitment from leadership, in this case, me and my team, right, to use the tools and empower people to use the tools. If you don't, you put the tools in place, you're going to walk by 5 years and go, God, did you guys used to have that? That was did you use it?
It's really true.
You have to change your mindset of those they need to drive business with data, and this just helps you do it.
And this has been great. A third machine, a new product.
It's 3 cycles a second. There's some great technology out there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for answering our questions.
You're welcome.
I mean, we appreciate you being on here, and we are excited to share this story and get it out there for other people to see, to give other companies hope that if they work hard and they implement the tools and they use them and they stay the course, that they can have good results.
You absolutely can. We're growing our business, and this is one of the pieces that help us grow. And I know I've said it before, but I really appreciate you guys going down the path of helping us get this implemented on the first machine. After it got done, everyone's going, I didn't even do this before. So thank you.
Thank you for listening. The hosts would like to thank Sinclair College, the Dayton Development Coalition, and our guests for exploring the digital thread. This material is based upon the work supported by Air Force Prime Contract number F48650-16-D-5524. Manufacturing and Industrial Technologies MITS, Task Order J, Regional Fabrication and Certification Training Labs, an Air Force Mantech project managed by Arctos Technology Solutions. Any opinions, findings and conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this material are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Air Force or Arctos Technology Solutions.